Hey guys, it's me, your favorite but exhausted math teacher. I'm here on a Monday late because I want to try to help you get a little head start on studying for your Unit 7 quiz. As you can see, there's nobody here. All you guys are home except for me. So let's get started and we will start right away. That way you guys can have plenty of time to study and I can get home at a decent hour tonight. So see, look, I promise I'm back here. Here I am. Okay, back to notes. So for our algebra quiz, remember we are doing probabilities. So for this first one here, we have a coin is tossed and a six-sided dice is rolled. Find the total number of outcomes. For this one, a coin only has two sides and we're dealing with the six-sided dice. So you are simply multiplying 2 times 6, which will give you 12. I know, very difficult, right? So that's number one. Number two, the chess team, which I don't even think we have here, can send 3 students to the next tournament. If there are 20 members, how many different teams of 3 can be selected? So for this one, order does not matter, so this is a combination. What you're going to do is first write your total number first, followed by that C, and then we're looking at different teams of 3. So 3 will come last. Remember how I showed you really quickly and really easy how to put that in the calculator? Well, when you do that, your total is going to be 1,140. Moving right along, since we had a combination example, I wanted to do a permutation example. Remember, order matters with permutation. For this one, number 3, there are 25 people competing in a tournament. How many ways can they win first, second, and third place? So again, this is a permutation because order matters. For this one, we're going to start again with the total number, which is 25 people, followed by that P for permutation. And there are 3 different places that they can score. And I'm sorry, that they can win first, second, and third place. So you're going to put that 3 last. Again, put it into the calculator just like I showed you, and your answer is going to be 13,800. Okay, so let's move right along. For this one, this is also going to be a permutation, but this is a permutation with repeating factors. So for number 4, it says, what is the total number of different 7-letter arrangements that can be formed using the letters in the word members? So it's M-E-M-B-E-R-S. As you can see, we have repeating M's twice and repeating E's twice. So what we're going to do is write this one as a factorial. So we're going to do the factorial of 7. And again, remember, you can just put that in the calculator, or you can multiply 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. Seems a little easier to put in the calculator as 7 factorial. The top row ends up being 5,040. And then when you multiply the factorial of 2 times the factorial of 2, you get 4. So 5,040 divided by 4 comes to your final answer of 1,260. Now let's move right along. This is where we're going to start having more than one probability. So this one is, what is the probability of drawing a red card or a 6 from a standard deck of playing cards? So as you can see on the left-hand side, I put the number of red cards is going to be 26, which is half of a full deck. And then what you end up doing here is factoring in how many 6s can you get that are just red cards. That would be 2. Normally it would be 4, but since we're looking just at red cards with the number 6, it's going to go down to 2. So when we add 26 plus 2, we end up with 28 on the top and 52 for the full deck of cards. And that's going to be our answer. Number 6, we have a bag contains 30 beads. If one is randomly selected, what is the probability of the number not being less than 10? So in other words, they're wanting to know what is the probability of that number being greater than 10. So what we're going to do is do 1 minus 10 divided by 30 because we're trying to take out that factor of them being less than 10 or 10 or less. So that leaves us with 20 over 30. And the quick way, remember I said to do, is just do 30 minus 10, which gives you 20 for the top and leaves you with 30 for the bottom. Okay, so that's how we do that whenever we are trying to take a probability out of the equation. Moving right along to number 7, we have a dice is rolled 2 times and then a month of the year is randomly selected. What is the probability of rolling a 5 both times and selecting a month that begins with A? So if we're going to if we're going to roll and try to get a 5 both times, remember we're assuming that this is a 6-sided dice. So our bottom number is going to be 6, and there is only one chance of rolling a 5 each time. So we get 1 out of 6 for the first roll times 1 out of 6 for the second roll. Then we're multiplying the number of months that begin with A, which there's only 2, out of the total number of months, which is 12. That comes to, when you multiply the top, it comes to 2, and you multiply the bottom, it comes to 432. You can divide both numbers by 2, and that will give you a simplified answer of 1 over 216. Okay, now this next one is a sample of, or an example of, if you first select one option and then you do not put that option back into the mix. So we're taking away 1 for our second probability. So this one is a CD contains 8 rock songs, 4 country songs, 10 rap songs, and 2 classical songs. A song is selected, not replaced, then another is selected. What is the probability of selecting a rap song first, then a country song? So when we add all those number of songs up, we get the total number of songs being 24. So for our first probability, we have to select 10 out of 24 because there's 10 rap songs out of a total of 24. That's going to be our first selection. Then since we are taking that song out, our next probability has to be 1 less on top and 1 less on the bottom. So it is 10 over 24 times 9 over 23. So see, we're taking out those ones from the top and 1 from the bottom. So that gives you 90 over 552. Now the second row is 90 over 552. You can first divide them both by 2 to give you 45 over 276. And simplify it one more time by dividing by 9 over 9, which will give you a simplified answer and a final answer of 4 over 69. Okay, so that is 1 through 8 so far. We only got a few more left, but these are all in one big problem. So as you can see, I'll back it up. See, that's our one big problem, but we're going to go step by step. So for this first one, for number 9, it says, the table below represents the number of MLB teams, Major League Baseball teams, that won or lost their first game of the season. Find the joint relative and marginal relative frequencies. If you need to remember joint relative and marginal relative, go back over those notes that we just did today. Okay, so for the conference, for the National League, we have 9 games won, 8 games lost. For the American League, we have 8 games won, 9 games lost. So for a total of 34 games. So what we need to do is, like we did in that last example today, the frequency, that's going to be the very bottom of the back page. What we're going to first do is we are first going to look at the frequencies. This is where all these decimals come from. So how we find that is we go 9 divided by 34 gives you 0.26. Then 8 divided by 34 will give you 0.24. Add those two up for the total, so top to bottom, that gives you 0.5. Then for the second row, we're going to do 8 divided by 34 to give you 0.24. Then we do 9 divided by 34 to give you 0.26. And then you add top to bottom, you get 0.5 again. This last row that we deal with is just the totals. So we're gonna add from left to right. So we go 0.26 plus 0.24 equals 0.5. Next row, 0.24 plus 0.26 is also going to be 0.5. And then remember, if you're adding top to bottom or left to right, this final answer right here should always be 1. If it's anything other than 1, you did something wrong. Okay, so that's our frequency table. Now we're going to take that frequency table and do these last 3 problems right here. So for number 10, we have the probability of the National League or the American League, and they won. So we're going to look at both the National League and the American League and the fact that they won. So we're going to look at 0.26 and 0.24. The total of them combined that they won is 0.5. So we have 0.5 right here. Remember, we have to multiply it by 100 in order to get our percentage. Move that decimal 2 places to the right, we get 50%. So now what we need to do, and that's going to be your final answer. For number 11, we need to look at the probability that the National League, and we're going to look at the National League given the fact that they won. So we're going to look at this box right here, National League, and they won. So it's 0.26. You're going to write 0.26 again. And then, again, like we did in the last one, multiply this number by 100. You're going to get 26%. And that's your final answer. Last but not least, number 12, the probability that the team lost, and given the fact that it was the American League. So we have to look at the American League losing. So the American League lost is 0.26. And again, just like the one from before, we're rewriting it as 0.26 and then multiplying it by 100. Move those decimal places over 2, and we get 26% for this answer as well. So those are your 12 problems, or samples, should I say, not the exact problems that are going to be on the test, but it is your sample that are very, very close to the actual test that's going to be on Wednesday. So as long as you study, use your notes, and are ready for Wednesday, you should do well. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. We have a short video today, so awesome. I get to go home early, and you guys get some good study notes. All right, guys, see you tomorrow.